YouTube.
Is there a button for YouTube?
Yeah, it's like a red triangle. Morning all, should be able to hear me, I hope. What a mess about this morning. Right, quick scan back. Morning Roy. Morning Leroy. Morning John. Morning Barry. Morning Rob. Morning Chris. Morning Mark. Morning Ian. Morning John. Morning Fred. Morning Nan. Morning James. Morning Philip. Alright. Morning Derek. Morning anybody that I've missed. Good morning. I just tried to scan back over the old text. Morning Mark. Morning Malcolm. Morning Miss T. Morning Steve. How do you know Karen's here? Did you hear her? There we go. I had to set the iPad up for Karen. She has difficulty pushing two buttons. Well, they're not even buttons, are they? Touchscreen iPad. Morning Brian. Morning Pete. Morning Adrian. Morning everybody. Good morning. Right, I'm just messing around with the screen as I'm saying good morning. See what I can see. Yeah, okay.
I haven't got a picture.
Evening Bob. You have to skip the ads. Morning Paul. Morning Don. Morning Clive. Morning. Saturday's back again. Here we go. Saturday morning. Yes. Not quite 10 o'clock yet, is it? I had a cup of coffee brought into me somewhere. I put in a complaint. It's not in me Oliver's Woodturning mug. But hey-oh.
I'm lucky to have a coffee.
She reckons I'm lucky to have a coffee. The things I have to put up with in life is unbelievable. Almost unbearable at times. Never mind. We've all got our little crosses to bear. Mine's just a big one. Morning Philip. Has been a bit soggy, isn't it? We're alright at the moment. No rain. Don't speak too soon. You got your belts and mug. Well done. I hope you're drinking your tea out of your mug, Mark. I'm looking at the camera and looking at the screen. That's why my eyes are all over the place. Morning, Steve. Morning, Reg. Oh, you're wet and windy up there, are you? Cool. Morning, Stuart. Karen knows she's got no chance of keeping me in line, Derek. It hasn't happened in the last 34 years. It's not about to start today. Very windy. Yeah. Winter's here, isn't it, eh? And if the news is anything to go by, we're all going to be locked down again. Fantastic. Morning, David. If it's not up to scratch, you can watch the cars being turned. All right. Morning, Michael, again. Elena, good morning. Oh, new lathe, yeah, nice and shiny. That'll be Don, won't it, eh? Don's going to be the proud owner of a FU-230. Nice. Lovely. Yes, the lathe is sort of clean, bit of dust, you know. It's wood turning lathe, and it's got a bit of dirt on it. Ain't got a bit of dirt on it. Ooh. Is the power station still going at all? I haven't got a clue. All I know is I wake up in the morning breathing, and I think, oh well, that ain't too bad. Vernier, no Paul, I haven't got verniers. My man that does the calipers don't seem to do verniers, so I must look for a supply of verniers at some point. Bit low on the old priority with everything else that's going on. At the moment I'm looking for a container. Store the wood. Morning Adrian. Morning anybody I've missed while I've been waffling on, you know what it's like. Morning Andrew. Morning Stephen. Stay in the warm, best way, Miss T. Morning Shay. Morning Wivey.
Asbestos roof in this one.
Ooh, asbestos roof. Put your dust mask on.
No, I think it's only me that needs a helmet.
Morning Trevor, crash helmets. I don't know, mate. Hopefully we're out of the line of fire. If it comes off, it will take out the sandblaster or camera. Ah, there we go. Little digital verniers. How big is it? How big is big? Massive. Massive. Plastic verniers, yeah. I think plastic verniers would be great. Morning, Baz. Morning, Roy. Morning, Hans. Yeah, Kronos is not a bad pry for engineering supplies. I use them a bit. How we doing for time? Ooh, minute ago, we're counting down to another live Saturday in the workshop. Please, could you see the snowman?
No, he's in the blizzard.
He's a bit frosty. Morning, Four Kings. Right, we're that time. It is Saturday. It is 10 o'clock. And it's not crackerjack. So, this morning we're going to out whatever it's called, a blank on the lathe. Using the extension bed as a tool rest supporter at a right angle to the lathe bed. Morning Ray. Morning anybody I've missed. Morning. So that's the plan for this morning. So you wanted to see the snowman. Here's Snowy the snowman. He was in a blizzard, got a bit caught. Right, that's Snowy. I'll FB that later. I'm saving it for you people as you was watching. I found it amusing when I started with the white paint, so I just went all over it. So this morning we are going to turn a large blank we're going to be using a faceplate to secure the blank. Morning, John. So faceplate to secure the blank. And I've got the blank here. Here's our blank. And we're going to put that on there. How's that for large? Ah, sugar. Screw holes don't line up. That ain't going to work. So, we'll use this one instead. It's a bit of sycamore, 22 inches. We could have gone bigger, but the big planks of the sycamore were at the bottom of the stack and I didn't want to lift them all out. So this was the biggest blank that I could cut with the planks that I could reach easily. So 22 inches. Now, I'm going to have to mess around with the cameras a little bit. I've moved them about so I can give you shots of what we're up to. But the problem with that is I haven't got bracketry where I need it, and the A-frame that everything hangs off of is I've got extension arms, but they wouldn't extend far enough, so I've got a camera clipped up on the sign behind us. I've got a camera up on a tripod over there that's on the work surface, and yeah, maybe I should have mounted one on the lathe so you could have an upward shot, but we didn't get that far. So let me switch over now. Forgive me for a minute because I don't know which one I'm switching to. That one, that'll do. That's going to be our main camera today. So what I'm hoping to do, so you can see that, you can see the blank. Got a cross in the middle and a centre mark. And I'm just going to eyeball in that faceplate. You know what my eyes are like. We might be 3 inches out here. Somewhere there. Of course, I've left me drill over here. I've got to lean across wires to get me drill. And grab some screws, and we're just going to screw into this faceplate. If I can find some screws of the right size. That was really prepared, wasn't it? What we got here? They're a bit big. They're going to be too small a head.
These are one and 3/4. They're too big.
Yeah, they're too big. I want shorter ones. Right, so I've got a nice short screw that will do it. The heads are a bit small. A bit of forward planning would have helped, wouldn't it? Let's have a look over there. What are they? Fours. They're fours. Could do with a 5 really, and my 5s are going to be too long, so they're going to be too long. What we'll do is washers. If I can find the washers. We've got a whole shelf full of screws up here, and now I can't find any washers. Hold on. I'm just going to washer the screws so we don't get any slip. The blank's only 2 inches thick. And lo and behold, Oliver strikes again. Too long.
What's those? 1.5.
They're 1.5 too long. Must be about 3/4. I've got loads of washers kicking around here somewhere. Right. Okay. So everything comes crashing down. I've had to come to a washer box. talk amongst yourselves for a minute while a lot of messes about. Okay, so now I've got some washers. Most of them. Right. Now I've got some washers. Ta-da! The washer will support the screw, and the screw can go into the faceplate. There. There. It's all balanced. As I put that down, it started tilting over. It's going to go on the opposite side there. I'm going to fill every hole because these screws are not quite the right size. Really what I should be using is a number 5 by 5 by 3/4, something like that, or 5 by inch, and of course I didn't think things through properly. I didn't have any 5 by inch, so we're using 4s which were tad small. But with the washer, it will spread the head load, and we'll check it in a minute when we get it on the lathe. We're going to have a good selection of screws in here, so it'll be fine. And I can speak from experience because I've done this before. A while ago now though. Can't remember the last time I did a blank outboard. I normally use the VB with big pieces of wood, and then the wood's that much bigger so I can use longer screws. So I've got plenty of 5s and 6s by 1.5 inches and that sort of thing. So that looks nice and secure on there. Let's get rid of that. That was a good start, wasn't it? Oliver at his best pre-planned. Okay.
Do you sell blanks that size?
I can sell blanks this size. I just cut them to order. I don't bother on the website with them because I have to see what planks I've got and what size I can do. But if anybody wants big blanks, all you have to do is message me and I'll tell you what I can do. Right, that is on there. We're just going to lock that off with the spanner. One spanner on the back.
How about using a decent glue block?
I wouldn't use a blue block on a blank this size. I'm just going to make sure she's secure. She's not wobbling, not so. That is secure. Now, what I will do, rather than reach round my lathe, I can move my controller to the end of the lathe. You can't see that, but it's stuck on the end. And then I'll just bring my tool rest up. Now the tool rest is on an extension post, so I can get it to the height that I want it. My centre's there, up a little bit. Now the only trouble with using the tool post is I always undo and do up the wrong lever. I go for the bottom one, which is doing nothing to the tool rest. It's just supporting the extension post. Now with this extension bed, there's a leg that you can fit to the underside, so the leg's nice and solid. I'll try and get a camera on that for you later. I'll just move my tool rest up so it's as close as I can get it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Blank's got a bit of a bow in it, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Lock it all down and away we go. So I'll turn the lathe speed right down, fire the lathe up. Well, it takes a second for the inverter. Now, that looks pretty quick, but we're only spinning about 300 RPM. That 300 RPM is here in the centre. Out here there's a multiplier, I don't know it, I'm not a mathematician and Joe's still in bed. But that will be probably, I don't know, 3 times the speed, so the outside edge here might be spinning more like 900, maybe a bit less, 800. But there is a calculation. So we're spinning. I've just stopped it. It'd take a while to slow down. I don't want to use my hand at the moment because I've got no glove on and the edge is not a finished edge. So we'll just get to there. I know I've got a few chinks in the outside, chainsaw mark in there. So what I'm going to do first is bring the tool rest outwards and trim the outside. I can bring my tool post underneath the blank, get maximum support. We're a long way over, but he's a nice sturdy tool rest, and that's the beauty of being able to go at a right angle. We'll spin that by hand.
Someone else has just asked if you sell blanks that size.
Blanks this size, to order only. You have to contact me and I'll see what size I can cut from the planks that I've got. So we're going to trim the outside first here. That was a good go with the camera. It took me 40 minutes messing around with cameras this morning. Safety glasses are on. I'll move my control box now back to where I want to be. Turn it on. And then we just slowly do a cut, tool in the side. Exactly the same as with a little blank. Just lift it up. And then just let the tool travel along the tool rest at the speed the wood's coming over the cutting edge. Sorry? The what?
The maximum size you can do off the side.
Off the side, with the extension bed on and working off the extension bed, I think it's about 1 metre. It's 500mm centre, so you could do a metre disc. If you've got a freestanding tool rest, then it's the floor, so that would give you I don't know what the spindle is from the floor. Hold on, I'll tell you. I've just got enough weight on my cutting edge to let it go with the wood so it advances as the wood's removed. We have one more, I think, there. Now I'm looking up at the horizon You see where I'm going. Still got a bump in there. That'll be the chainsaw mark. I'm not worried about that. We'll turn that away in a minute. So all I'm doing is balancing the blank a little bit. There. Right, so we've got a bit of a piff knot there, that will come out, and a bit of piff there, so we'll get rid of that. That's my chainsaw mark, that's nearly gone. And I've got another bit of piff there. So it looks like I've got a bit of piff running right the way through there. So we'll get rid of that. The face is nice and clean, that's why I chose to mount it that way. But I nearly stabbed myself up the nose with a bowl gouge. Pay more attention. So, I'll bring my tool rest round the front now. A bit of wobbling about. Get that in roughly where I want it. Somewhere there, I think. Up a little bit. Stop. Turn it by hand, just a tad out, just level that up. Somewhere there, we'll bring it along. Make sure I'm covering the centre. Somewhere there. That's not too sad. And then I'll just move my control box within easy reach so I can get at it. So we'll turn this on now. And now we'll just face the blade off. Lost the cut there. Hold on. I've got a boom, 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 boom. Let me say yell. Now, it's not moved there. Tool rest ain't moved. It's just my tool. It's higher in one point than the other, so always careful when you're doing big blanks. You don't get too many chances if it goes wrong. And then you've got to really slow down, because you can see now the advance is very slow if we get into the middle. That's why I skipped off. I was pushing just a tad too hard and moving too quick for me blank. Now I just want to raise my tool rest up because I'm just coming under centre just a tad. Back there I think will do us. Let's check that. Yeah. Let's lock down. And now I should be able to come through on centre. So now I'll just come back again. slipping off on the shavings there. And slowly into the centre. Just raise the handles that come into the middle there. Make sure I cut on centre. Take that clip out. Like so. Now, I hope you can see some of that. Shavings we're getting the nice and curly. What camera am I on? That one somewhere. Nice and curly. So we're slicing the fibre. And if we stop that, I'll clean my lathe. Keep everybody happy. Yeah, so it's a nice white blank. Got a bit of rip out on this edge, but we're not worried about that at the moment. And there's our nasty bit of pith, which is going to come through there and come out there. So hopefully we can get rid of that. We don't really want that. So what I'm going to do now, just up the speed a little because we're more balanced. So now it looks like we're spinning at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We're literally 447 RPM. And I'm just gonna, I wonder, hold on, let's try that camera. Right, what I'm gonna do now is just rub the back of the bevel, come back the other way. Start putting some shape into it. There. Now we've got a compromise here because I'm standing. I'm just going to move the control box. I'm going to hit the off switch with my knee. Because I'm standing this side, this is the way I would normally work. But if I stand like this, how I would work and push it out of the way, you're not going to get any camera angles. So what I'm doing is just compromising my position so you can see a cut. We're just removing material at the moment. On for the shavings. Mrs. Oliver's going to have a lot of clearing up to do today. It's going to be a big pile of shavings.
working back each time. As I pick the cut up, my handle comes towards my body. And then I just twist my hips slightly away from the lathe. You can see they're quite aggressive cuts. We're getting quite a pile of shavings. No, this is kiln dried. It's kiln to around about 14%, 16%, something like that. Same wood that I cut the blanks out of. Tools firmly in the side. Now, you see that snatching? I'm taking too big a cut for this outside rim. I have to stop talking, the shaving's coming straight up into my face.
Did you change the belt?
No, I've just got it turned up on the start, just as low as speed. I very rarely change the belt position on any lathe. I find you don't really need to. With the variable speed controller. With the variable speed controller, you don't really need to change the speed that much because you can vary it enough for the tolerance of what you're doing. The VB, a couple of times I've had to drop it down onto the lowest gear belt purely because the piece of wood's been so big. So if I'm putting 50 kilos plus on the VB, then you can put two belts on at once, and that's what I do because I'm after torque because of the weight of the wood. But on something like this, I can just go at my normal sort of belt speed and use the variable controller, and that was the same on the axes. So plenty of shavings coming off, and what we'll do is just check the shape of this now and check where that pith is. Oh, we're getting rid of the pith there, that's ideal. And we've got a nice shallow curve to this coming this way, which the camera's really not going to pick up on, I'm afraid. And camera 4 decided to give up on me this morning, so I gave up with it. Just getting a little bit too much shaving there. Now we start making decisions. Do we want just a nice curve out, or do we want a bit of an ogee on it? And looking at this, I'm just going to go for a nice curve out. So now I'm going to sort of bring my tool rest around to suit my curve a bit. And now I'm going to start looking at doing a few final cuts and get rid of these bump lines where I've been ripping the wood away. So I'm going to come about here and take finer cuts. And just drop my handle a little bit if I want to cut less. Raise the handle a bit if I want to cut more. Now as I do this, where I'm looking is here. So I look there, and as I cut, I can see this cut line coming out here, so I can see me bumps and curves. So if you're looking here, you can see a few lines, they're bumps. Here it looks fairly smooth because I'm just lifting my handle or dropping my handle a little bit to try and keep it a nice even cut. I can pick the cut up by putting my bevel on, coming up to the edge, and then just move my handle towards me. I'm going to come back now because we've now got a line just here. Well, you can work this one out. We're at 450 now. Makes no difference. Makes no difference. When you're cutting just under the tip there or there, depending on direction of travel. If it's a big piece or a little piece, you're not using any more cutter. I enjoy turning bigger pieces more, but the problem with turning bigger pieces, if you're selling your work, you're limiting your market because people haven't got the room to put them in. So I'm just sliding the bevel along now to pick that area up there. There was a line. Drop the angle down a bit. The only thing I would say, if you're turning something big, you definitely put it on a face plate. Now in my eyesight I can see a couple of lines and they're just tooling lines there. You can see them just here and here, so we need a couple of smoother cuts. But we've got a nice shape coming on here, so we'll just bring it round a little bit more. This is going to be our foot area from there. No real pressure on the tool, just light now. That was the tip, I think, there. and that snatchy bit there was just taking too much wood again. So I'm just going to start from here. And I'm going to move the tool resting a bit closer for a bit more support. Nice little piff line there. Let's bring that over there. We're just trying to smooth this out. Just a tad. Bit of shaving that I didn't want to eat.
Size gauge are you using?
3/8. This is the one of the Glenn Lucas Hamlet bowl gouges. Right, so now we've got our outside shape, we've got a curve and a few little lines on it now. So all I'm going to do now is a little tidy cut back the other way, more like a shear cut, just roll over onto the edge and just take out the lines. Now, move that out of the way. I have my trigger in the way. I wonder if we come back to the other camera. That might be better for you now. So I'm just on the side, rub it over, and I'll just come back. I'm going to sand, but I've got a problem with that, so I'm going to have to put a Air Shield Pro on because I can't get the extractor over to the lathe. I need a longer tube. Now you got the back of my head, you see? Yeah, smart. Let's try this way. That's that. That's better. So I'm watching the wood, watching the screen. I can't do the talk as well, the chat. So we'll leave that to Karen. She shouts out if anything's going on. I've got a line just here. Just gently run that gouge backwards and forwards. We've got a little hollow there. a little bump line just about here. There's a little bump line just about there. Nothing major. But it needs tidying out. Otherwise we'll be sanding for too long. So I'm just going to come in same way. Bit of vibration through the tool. So what I'm going to do is, to a freshly sharpened tool, just a very light touch. The real pressure is on my thumb on the shaft. My right hand is literally just holding on the handle so it can't shoot out my hand. Let's have a look at that. That's fine. Right, so we're about there. So what I'm just going to do now is mark out for my jaw set, because what I'm going to do is put a spigot in here, and the spigot's going to be a part of the foot. Yeah, you can remount with a vacuum chuck and all that sort of stuff. You want a bigger cup, and it takes a little bit of messing around to get it centered, and you could do that. But what I'm going to do is do this, and I've got some gripper jaws. I'm just going to grip into the socket that I put in. And then make that part of the foot. So I want to grip somewhere around there. Now let's come back to the other camera. Right, so this is my size. Get my vernier. Work out where I'm going to, about there. So I want just about 60 mil. So I turn this on. Turn the camera back for you. That one. Same as before. Left point, scribes, start scribing my line. When I'm about there lined up with me right, that gives me my line. So my line is pencil with a point, just there. Now I could use a bigger set of jaws with a blank this size and make it sort of there. That might be the safer option, but I don't think I've got a chuck set up with bigger set of jaws. I have not. So that would hold it. We should do it properly. I would normally hold a blank this size to about there. So let's find another set of jaws, I think. That'll be the easy, proper thing to do. Well, they'd probably be more like it. What's that? 1, 2, 3. Trying to find jaws with carriers on so I don't have to mess around too much. There's 4. Make sure I've got 1, 2, 1. That wants to be number 3. Right. So what I'm using here is an old Super Precision chuck. Really good grip force. I use these all the time when I'm doing heavy work. Nice strong chuck. I pick them up second hand. I'll put my chuck key somewhere safe. So you'll give about, I don't know, 130 quid for a second hand Super Precision. Probably the best chucks that were done. I've got a feeling they were made by Bison. Don't quote me on that though, but I think they were made by Bison. I've got a couple of Bison chucks as well there. If you're going to do big work, heavy work, then you need the chucks to do that work, in my opinion. I could put a Patriot on with a 4-inch jaw set, and that would do it, but the grip force on these things are better. Something like this would have worked alright on a Patriot, I'm sure. Well, I know it does because I've done it before. Let's try that. So that is going to be about there for our external. Get my vernier on here. Oop. Let's swap back to that camera. Sorry, I've just put the jaw set on. Karen's disappeared for a second. She didn't tell me I hadn't switched cameras. So I'm there. These have got a slight taper on. So somewhere there. I'm doing the internal, idiot. I want the external anyway. Oh, well, that other jaw set might have been alright. Let's see where this will come to. I'm going to put a socket in the back. That'll be alright. I don't want to use the full depth of the jaws. So, let's have a look. See where this comes. There. Right, my left point is in. Keeps not swapping cameras this morning. Idiot. I'm an idiot. Right. Don't agree. So I'm in there. So now I've got a good socket in the base to there. And realistically, to here is our foot. It's going to stand on this rim. So that, I think, gives us a nice, secure fixing. I'm just trying to find, I'm out of space. I'm all 2 and an 8 here, doing it this way round. It's the opposite way round to what I normally work. And I've got things over there that I can't reach, and things open. Dear. Okay, so let's bring that into there. We want the tool rest just on the centre line. We're going to use the skewers scraper. What's happened is someone's phoned the shop on a Saturday morning when we're doing a live demo, and Karen's answered the phone, where she should be looking at the text and see if there's anything that we need.
I'm selling stuff so we can afford to do live demonstrations.
So we're coming into here with this. So we're going to have our socket to about there. Now I want to clear a bit of this wood away. So I can just use a 1/4 bowl gouge, come into the centre, and I'm too high for that. Let's drop that down a tad. We'll come back to centre, and what I'm going to do is just pick this up, here. Just come away. Somewhere like that. Now what I want to do is make this a curve. Nice smooth curve. Going back up me flute. Somewhere there. So I've got a bit of a curve going on the bottom. So I've got, let's pick that up. Got a couple of lines I want to get rid of. I turned my gouge in there and just caught the wing, but that doesn't matter because now I can raise my tool rest and put me taper in with my skew because the jaws are tapered outwards. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll just come in with this skew now and put an undercut chamfer. There, and what I'm going to use is a smaller skew because I want this shoulder where my jaws are going to sit here to be flat. There, my jaws have got to sit squarely against this flat, so I've got a flat area there for my jaws to sit against. I've got an undercut here so my jaws are open out into it, and then I've got a sort of dome here in the middle. So what I'll do now, get rid of that, I'm going to hand sand this bit, and then I'm going to have to slip a dust mask on to sand the other bit because the extractor won't reach. Let me just put the tool rest there, somewhere safe. In there, so if I just sand this bit. I don't want to sand the bit that I turn with the tool for my shoulder. I just want to tidy up this bit here. Now I'm doing this cack-handed. Normally I would stand here, use my left hand, but then you see my back and nothing else. So I'm sort of compromising for the camera again. There. And then I'll just come down. Mess around with this too much. Stand on the upslope, that'll do it. Let's have a look at that. Nice and clean in there, that's sanded. Now, you could put a bit of decoration in, either a texturing tool or a parting tool or something. We're going to use a little parting tool. I'll just come into there. Let me find my little narrow parting tool. This one will do. Can't find the other one. And I'm just going to put three rings in there like that. That'll just take the eye off of this if someone turns it over. And I had a bit of Formica last weekend, didn't I, or the weekend before, and I put it somewhere safe and now I can't find it. And I saw it earlier. I thought I'll use that later. I can't find it. Oh, a bit of Formica. Found it. I put it somewhere safe. I just put it on the shelf ready to use. So what I can do now, I drop the tool rest down, get the Formica in the crack, give it a push. Burn that into there. So if someone picks it up and looks on the underside, straight away they see a bit of decoration. Their eyes drawn to that rather than this socket that we're going to have in here. We can, you know, you could mess around and do the socket. This foot's nice and flat. So double check that, because obviously our piece is gonna sit, and that's nice and flat, so it will sit nicely on there. So that's that bit done. So now we're sanding this bit. I'm using an inertia reel sander, and I'm gonna put on a dust mask of some description. Hold on. Let's see what we've got here. Right, so I've got my Trend Air Shield Flow Pro. Just while I do this, now you may not be able to hear me, so I won't talk for a minute. I'm not going to say too much, it don't need a lot. Hold on. I've just put the overhead extraction on to take the dust away from here a bit. Just using the inertia wheel sander. I'll just quickly you what? Right, it's dusty in here. Okay, normally I'd have the extraction on. Actually, if I whack that on, that might help. Right, I've got an overhead filter running at full speed. I've got a dust extractor on to try and draw the dust away down here. Really, my pipe needed to be here, but it's just not long enough for doing this demo. So that's where we're at the moment. So now I've got a bit more work to do on the foot, but for the purpose of this, we'll now just do a little bit of colour. I'm going to use my unicorn spit as a water-based dye. Put a bit of red in there. Shaving out of there. Put a bit of yellow in that one. Bit of water. Water bottle. The top's nearly off. Nearly went everywhere. Not what's going on here today. The gremlins. The gremlins have been in. So I'm just going to use a bit of yellow. You still see the grain through this. It's quite smart. I have to make up a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in with a bit of red in between, and we'll build this up a bit. It doesn't matter if I go onto the foot, I've just got to tidy that foot up in a fraction. That's a bit of thick paint on there. Now we'll just put in a bit more paint and we'll make it a bit thinner to start blending the colours. As you take the dust out, you could. More water in there, a bit more of the yellow, water down, and start blending them in. Bit red. Blend these in. Nice and bright. Let's make it nice and bright. Make us all feel a bit better. That's what I say. We all need brightening up at the moment, so let's brighten ourselves up. Nice bit of paint blurred into here. I didn't do blues and greens this week because everybody says, oh, I bet it does blue and green. So you've got something different. You've got red and yellow. Yeah. I'm not worried if it's bolder reds and yellows in some places than t'other. I'm just adding this in and just filling the wood. And we'll need some more yellow. Bit of water in that.
Said it's a nuclear sunset.
It's a sun to make us feel happy. Bright colours make you feel happy. Now I'm just coming over this with the yellow now and start blending it in and softening the hard reds. Now anybody that's observant can see I've splashed a bit of paint on there, so I'll have to clean that off. But the yellow just blends it together. I think I'm nearly out of yellow. Clean bit of towel. It's yellow. And in the area that I've got that's really too red, I can just come over this yellow with the yellow and soften it right down. And I just muck about with this until I'm happy, but for today we ain't going to muck about too much because we won't get the project finished. It's a bit longer project because of the size of wood, but we'll speed it up. Just a minute. Now just keep going with this yellow. Bit more water in there. Big hard area over here that we've not touched yet, so let's get that in there. The more you work the yellow, the more you soften it and blend it all down. Think of that, a nice summer sunset, that's where we're at. In there. I'm going to squeeze a bit more yellow out of this pot. It's a never-ending pot of yellow. we're a bit heavy round here, so let's blend that one in. I'm looking round on the camera so I can see the other side. We just circle this on there. Ain't that'll do us. And the two sides. You could muck around with this some more and add a bit of red in and keep going till you're done, but that'll be nice and bright. That'll do us. That'll do. So, what? Realistically, because I've got paint on my foot, I've got to tidy that up. I would have been better off probably doing the colouring first and then doing the foot second, but there's nothing that a little gouge won't sort out very, very quickly. Just a very fine cut through there. So I've just got me 1/4 inch gouge again. Turn the lathe on and let's just make a nice clean line.
Oh, hi, thank you very much. Thank you very much, thank you.
Through there. Yeah, that's what I did. If there are any bumps there. Someone asked what? No reason really, it's just if you haven't got an airbrush you can still apply paint quite easily, so I just, you know, you can put it on by cloth, put it on by paint, whatever you want really. Now I've just got a little bit of torn grain here that would take a bit of sanding, so very fine brush cut. Check that. That's better. That will sand. And now I've just got to deal with this bit of paint in the middle. So let's swap the old camera around. I don't know what one we're on. Right. So yeah, I think you're going to get my shoulder no matter what for this. Allow that tool rest a tad. Who's that there? Let's check that. There's the paint gone. Get me little skewer, make that flat in the centre again. I've not taken much off here, less than a mil. So make that flat in there. Put my jaws. Blend that in. That's there. Now just sand that foot off just quickly. Just went 180. I wanted 240. Bit of 240. That do. And sand that centre. Oh, just dropped me sandpaper where I didn't want to drop it. Don't like running this way. Let me do it this way. I'll just try and do this for speed now. There. Last bit. Okay, that will do for sanding. Now, if any of you are observant, we've lost one of our lines, so let me just come up here. Parting tool, things are better in trees. What did I do with the parting tool? Things are better in trees. I've lost my parting tool. Put it back over there. Will be about another half hour, I think, if everybody wants to see this finished. That in there. I lost 10 minutes messing about, doing things the wrong way round. So let's just drop that tool rest down so I can get into here. Re-establish them burns. Get this out of the way. And just getting the lid off me. That's it. Cut and paste. Oh. Cut and polish. A little pith line there, looks like a bird or a butterfly or something, doesn't it? Flying around. I definitely need some paper towel. Where's that gone? Put some of that on there, some in the middle there. Oh. Now I don't know how dry that is for a cut and polish. Should we try it? Yeah. Ain't gonna hurt, is it? This may or may not work. Normally you let the paint dry properly, but we'll find out in just a minute. Everybody's still awake? That's good. I'm on overtime today. It goes to double time at 12. That's giving it a coat of that. That'll do. Down there. Right, bit of kitchen roll and we'll buff this up quickly. I can wax it after, I can just do a bit of hand waxing. But we'll see what it looks like. Try and keep the paint off of this now. I'll do the foot first, like that. There's the moment of truth. Let's see what happens here. Cut and polish onto paint. Take some of the paint off, that's for certain. Takes a lot of the paint off, that's for certain. It don't really matter too much what happens because I've got a mounting point, so I can remount and redecorate afterwards if this didn't work. So it's not the end of the world, but it's just see if we can get an effect. I can see a shine starting to come. shine on me, aha. Anybody know that tune? Pat Carroll, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Sorry, Pat, it's gone on a bit. It don't look too bad. It's started to shine now, and then I'll carry on with that later. I can do that from the other side. So let me now take this off this face plate. Come on, that's it. I have to perch it on here. Actually, what I'll do, it's all a bit one-handed, isn't it? Get that over there. I can put that down on there on the faceplate. Maybe not, maybe can. Find me chuck that I had earlier for me socket in there. Expand that out with the weight of the chuck. That looks like that's alright. That's cool. Turn that over to there. Actually, put the chuck on the lathe. Tap that back a bit more. That's better. Sort that out in a minute. Now we take that faceplate off. Oop. The little screws over there, and last one. What? Thank you, Andrew. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Right, so as I said, I'm lost for space. I don't know where I'm going to put anything here like this. I've got cameras all over the place. Okay, so now we're ready on this side. So if I turn my lathe speed down, turn it on, turn it up, The back's looking like it's running true, so that's the most important thing. Stop that there. And then we face our blank off. I'll try and speed things up a little bit. How are we doing for time? 22. Right. Okay, so we got the back of the platter done. We got the front of the platter to do. I think this is going to take another half an hour to an hour or so to finish it properly. So, what I propose is we have a big platter turning part 2 next week where we do the front. Because realistically the back needs a polish to blend it in. We got to then face this blank off, do the bit of decoration on the front and do the hollowing. So I think what I'm going to do is say, right, we'll stop there and we'll come back to big platter turning part 2 next week, where we'll do the face and do what I had in mind for the decoration, because I think we've got a good hour and a half here and to get the back polished up right, and this, so I can mess around, polish up the back, and then next week we'll face the blank.
Everybody thinks it's a good idea.
Do the decoration to the front and we'll go like that. Thank you very much, Ben, that's very kind of you, thank you. So that's the plan. Big piece turning takes a bit longer, and if I wasn't looking for my screws and my washers this morning, that might have helped. Let me come back to the face on camera, because I know you want to see my lovely face. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a big platter turning part 2. That helps me because I didn't know what to do next week. So I hope you've enjoyed this morning. Yeah, great way to make sure everybody comes back. It's clever. No, I hope you've enjoyed this morning. Part of turning larger pieces outside. Someone said what was the maximum you could get on this. I've got a tape here now. So my spindle to the floor is around about 1.1. So thank you very much, David, that's kind of you. So I could get 2 metres in theory if I got enough floor and ceiling with a freestanding tool rest. And you could have a sailboard whipping round. If I was going to do that though, I wouldn't be confined to the small space that I've got here. That's when I use the VB. It's the machine for the job. Right.
Somebody's asking what the price of the blank will be, but you
Okay. Hello, Martin. Thank you, Martin. Cheers, David. Stuart, thanks a lot. How much would a blank like this be?
You can't guess.
I don't know off the top of my head. It goes on square inches, cubic inches of wood. So send me a message or something, and I'll let you know. I'll have to get to a spreadsheet. No, I'm guessing. Karen saying me, don't guess, so I won't guess. It'd be expensive. You know, it's not a cheap piece of wood at all. I could have gone wider if I'd gone with 3 or 4 inch, but that would have doubled or tripled the cost, so I weren't going to do that. I love you all, but not that much, eh? So, thanks Leroy, thanks everybody that's come along, thanks Rob, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with the big platter. Thanks Paul, glad you enjoyed it. Cheers Mark, thank you. Thank you Wivey, glad you found it entertaining. There was a lot going on today, especially with cameras. I might get some brackets fitted up in the week. Cheers, Steve. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Mole Valley. Cheers, Ian. Thank you. Cheers, Colin. The unicorn has spat all right. Yeah, it's all over my hands. You can see that, can't you? Thank you all. Thank yous are coming out a bit fast, so I apologise if I miss anybody. Cheers, Alf and Andy. Dennis, glad you enjoyed it. BB, thank you. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, P. Yeah, look forward, part 2. Let's hope so. Better cameras. Thanks, Phil. Cheers, Douglas.
Tell them to like.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. I've got a spinny wheel. Does that mean we're buffering? Cheers, Hans. Thanks, Ridley. Cheers, Steve. Cheers, Stephen. Thanks, Sandy. Glad you enjoyed it, Roy. Cheers, Baz. Don't forget, like and subscribe and share if you like. That would be even better. Cheers, Vicky. Glad you found it enjoyable. No, this mop's clean, Derek. Karen washed it. I've got to order a new one, I think. I'll have a clean one for show, and I'll put this one on when no one's looking. Cheers, Clive. Thanks for coming along. Thank you all for watching. It makes it worthwhile. If no one was watching, then I'd have to do something else for me Saturday mornings. Sit and talk to Karen. I think I'll do this. I'm big and brave. She walked out the room. Oh no, she ain't. She was hiding. Shit, I'm in trouble. Excuse my French. Cheers, Michael. I hope you can go and find your calf now and have some breakfast. Take Russell with you.
He wants to know if I beg Joe breakfast in bed. Got 2 chances.
Joe, breakfast in bed. He don't get up before midday, so it wouldn't be breakfast. It'd be brunch, wouldn't it? Thanks, Ian. Right, people. Just gone 1:45. I probably bored you enough today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. These big pieces take... Oh, 95. We just need another 5. Thanks, Julian. The more we see, current viewers, we're falling fast now. 4 more thumbs up for the 100. Each week it's nice to hit 100 before you go offline, innit? Makes it feel worthwhile. 97, just 3 more. Any advance? 3 more, that'll do it. That's our little target each week. 99. Who's going to be the 100th? Well done, people. 100 likes on a Saturday morning. That's what I like to see. Very good, Mark. If you've read that, my wife says every man needs a shed and every woman needs a man to have a shed. 102, 105. There, the likes are 106. Look at that. I can feel the love in the room. Well, on the internet. One day, you never know, we might all be able to meet up face to face and have a beer. Wouldn't that be great, eh? We'd have a great big Woodturners party. In fact, what I'll probably do when all this is over, I'll do you a live demo in a field somewhere. How's that? Won't have any power though, so the lathe won't be spinning. We could use a bodger's lathe. A few people say I'm a bit of a bodger. Right, I think Rob's doing a live, so all over to Rob. So, people, I'll let you go. I hope you've enjoyed this morning. I've enjoyed doing it. I thank you all for coming. I thank you for the likes. I thank you for the donations. That helps pay for things. And let's hope that we all come through this and meet again next week. And let's hope this lockdown, whatever they're going to give us, isn't as bad that people think it is. I'm away. Thank you again. And hopefully I'll see you all next week. Take care and good day.